Everything okay, Oscar?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am awaiting your instructions.
If I say Yangela Cola to you, what would you think of, Oscar?
Nothing springs to mind, Kate Walker.
Oscar, the sailors have agreed to tow the train, but they want to get paid for it. I suppose you have some petty cash on board to cover traveling costs?
No, there is nothing like that. You will note, however, Kate Walker, that every effort has been made to ensure maximum passenger comfort.
Okie dokie. I'll sort this one out by myself, then. You don't know where I might find any Amazon forest Sauvignon, do you?
No, Kate Walker.
Oscar, there's no way you could help me find a way to wind the train back up again?
Rust awaits my every movement if I leave this train, Kate Walker. And what would you do with a rusty engine driver?
Not a lot, I suppose. There's a winding machine further on down there, but we're going to have to shift the train 50 yards.
Impossible, Kate Walker. Train Engineer's Instruction Manual, Chapter 3, Article 2. Once the springs are slack, the train cannot move.
The train cannot move by itself, Oscar. Only by itself. Oscar, see you later, alligator.
In a while, Kate Walker.
Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, sorry to disturb you again. Professor, I have brought you something that should be of interest to you. Look.
What have you got there, then? Let's see. An effigy of a mammoth. But this is Hans' doll, this is not? Yes, of course it is. How on earth did you... Oh, my God. It's in my hands. It exists. It really exists. Please do excuse me. I'm deeply, deeply moved.
You see, your Hans and my Wahlberg heir are one and the same.
This is incredible. After all these years, how can I ever thank you, my dear? Oh, I must waste no time. I'm off to my laboratory. I must study this carefully. May I borrow your treasure a moment?
Well, actually,
Don't worry, miss. I will take the greatest care of it. But I need to study it. You see, it has such importance to me that this very afternoon I shall deliver an impromptu lecture to my students about this very object. If you are interested in Hans Wahlberg, then it is essential that you attend.
do you think so?
Obviously. Give me your telephone number and I will call you the moment my lecture begins. I will return you your doll at the end. You have my word.
In that case, see you later.
What is it you want to know, miss?
I would have loved to study at a university like this.
No, age is too old to start learning, my dear.
Maybe, but you know, the eternal student and all.
You prefer being an eternal lawyer.
I have more important things to deal with. Live problems, not things that died millions of years ago.
Everyone has their own priorities, my child.
You told me earlier about a lecture on some ancient Siberian tribe called the Ooks or something?
The Yugals, my dear. Careful not to confuse them with the Ugistran people of Central Asia.
Do excuse me. I wanted to know if your lecture is going to start soon.
Your eagerness to learn delights me, my dear. But I haven't finished studying this marvelous mammoth effigy yet. Don't worry, I will call you. See you later.
What would you say about seeing Hans Vorarlberg again? After all, you could come with me and help me find him.
Young lady, you are very kind. I'm far too old for such escapades.
Your Hans Vorarlberg sounds uncannily like the one I'm looking for. Can you tell me a little bit more about him?
He was always a mystery to me. He never said very much. You never quite seemed to grasp what you said to him. He expressed himself instead through his incredible mechanical contraptions. His inventions, I admit, have been much appreciated by the university. The few times we really did talk, it was about his strange interest for mammoths and a doll. Some sort of doll that obsessed him.
Arriving in Barrackstadt is an amazing experience. I've never seen such a station.
You came by train?
Yes, in a kind of clockwork train with a spring mechanism that winds down regularly.
You mean you drive a train? Young ladies of today never cease to amaze me.
Oh, no, I'm not the engineer. The train's engineer is actually an automaton. I am sorry, all this probably sounds very strange.
A clockwork train, driven by an automaton. I once knew a man long ago who could have invented such a train. It was he who designed the bandstand in the main square. To think that he was even capable of creating such a gadget. He was astounding, a true genius. But oddly, at the same time, he was also almost a child. It was as if his mental and physical evolution had definitively halted at the age of 10. Can you believe that?
Yes. I think I can believe that. At least I'm beginning to. My train stopped in a peculiar aviary. It's very odd. A lot of bird species seem to seek harbor there.
Ornithology is far from being my favorite subject, but I must concede that the station is the pride of the university. It was initially intended for teaching purposes, but then birds started arriving from all around the world. It seems that there are still rare species breeding there and flourishing.
Are there? Can you give me an example? My train stopped in a peculiar aviary. It's very odd. A lot of bird species seem to seek harbor there.
Ornithology is far from being my favorite subject, but I must concede that the station is the pride of the university. It was initially intended for teaching purposes, but then birds started arriving from all around the world. It seems that there are still rare species breeding there and flourishing.
Are there? Can you give me an example?
I have been told about a kind of bird with peculiar habits. Let's see now, the Amazon cuckoo. That's right. But, oh, I'm so foolish. I can't remember what was so special about it. Just that its behavior is very peculiar.
The Amazon? Where's the Amazon? What is the Amazon?
I'm sorry, my dear, but one cannot learn everything in a lifetime. Specialization is the key to real knowledge. Why don't you pay a visit to our library?
Thank you very much. Professor, how do I say this? You see, I didn't think I'd need a lot of money when I set out. And it turns out I need money after all. It's a delicate matter, I know, but I was wondering if you could help me out.
My dear, it would be a pleasure. But you see, I barely have enough myself to cover my meager expenditure on what I'm paid by the university.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend or...
However, if we look at the example of Hans, it is true that our university always rewards people who perform some service for it. This is our dear rector's jurisdiction, however.
If I were to say Forest Sauvignon to you, what would you say?
Oh, let's see. Sauvignon. Sauvignon. I would say it's some kind of tropical shrub, don't you think?
We are talking about the same plant, then. It is a very rare shrub with small, juicy fruits. I found a book about the Amazon, and it says that there are even Sauvignon plants growing right here in Barrackstadt. You wouldn't know where, would you?
Amazon Sauvignon plants here? No. No, I don't think there are any. Highly implausible. But, you should ask the station master. He is keeper of the greenhouse at our university, so he could tell you more than me.
Oh, thanks very much. I'm under the impression that if I am to continue my journey, I'm going to have to open the locks on the canal.
You're probably right, my dear, so open the locks. Whether they are open or closed is none of my business.
I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child. What is it you want to know, miss?
I'll leave you in peace.
Sorry?
That door is locked. That door is locked. That door is locked. wondering if you could help me.
Can't you see I'm very busy?
What are you looking for?
None of your business. Now, if you don't mind, I am trying to concentrate. I haven't got a lot of time left before Professor Pons' next tutorial.
Professor Pons, you say?
Would you mind working elsewhere, please?
The door's locked, but I've still got to get in there. I'm sorry to disturb you.
What can I do for you, miss?
Have you been the station master of Barukstadt for a long time?
I've never had another job. Now, you tell me, are you in charge of this train?
No, I mean, I'm not sure.
So what's your thing here? You come here to do some bookworming over at the university?
Well, sort of. I'm always looking for new information.
Well, you don't seem to know a lot. And about that train, it's gonna get in the way if you leave it there, that's for...
In fact,
Investing.
well, you never know.
See it?
I never... Where might I find some Forest Sauvignon plants, please?
No place round here, that's for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. That stuff's from the Amazon.
You know, for someone who knows nothing about the plant, you seem pretty well informed about which mysterious faraway country it comes from.
Oh, well, Amazon, Peru, Papua New Guinea, it's all the same to me. Gotta go. Gotta work.
Wait, don't go. You know what? I don't think he was being totally straight with me. Excuse me, Station Master, but I need you again.
Can't you see I am very, very busy?
No.
Well, I am. Very busy indeed. But, okay, I think I can give you a minute of my time.
I'm looking for a kind of little juicy berry. You don't know where I could find some?
Look, lady, the station doesn't have any Sauvignon berries, not even Forest Sauvignon.
Funny you should mention it. That's exactly what I was looking for. Forest Sauvignon.
Sauvignon, raspberries, red currants, they're all the same to me. And we don't grow none of them here.
But you see, I have just read a very interesting book, which says that the rare Sauvignon berry is actually cultivated here, in the famous Baruchstadt University aviary itself.
Well, if it's in a book, then I don't believe everything you read, miss.
I don't know why, but I don't think you're telling me the truth.
What do you mean? I don't know. How should I know where to find your stupid grave? Go ask your professor, what's his name, Pons, the paleontologist.
But you're the master of this station, so you should know better than anyone.
Nobody tells me anything. I don't know. Go see the old guy with the fossils.
I feel like I've lost my way a little here. I could really do with your help.
Hey, anything I can do, miss, you just let me know.
I've got it. I found a winding machine. Down over there, along the track.
A winding machine? I knew that strange gizmo had something to do with trains. How does it work, then?
I was going to ask you the same question.
Miss, I only feed the birds and water the plants. Mechanical stuff's just not in the job description, okay?
All these birds in a station. It's amazing.
This is no ordinary station, miss. Oh, no. These birds are part of the prestigious University of Baruchstadt Ornithological Collection. Over the years, this aviary has housed some of the most fantastic species from all over the world. And I am not exactly your typical station master either. This little world is my responsibility, and that is no easy task.
I can well believe you.
And you know what's the hardest? The hardest thing is to keep interspecial harmony. And one day some explorer introduced a couple of cuckoos from the Amazon. Whoa!
It wasn't a good idea?
A nightmare. You know, cuckoos lay their eggs in the nests of other species, right? Now, what's more, they also push the host's eggs out of the nest so that they receive all the mother's attention, right? Accursed cuckoos. Nightmare.
I see what you mean. That's one tricky bird. And there was nothing you could do to stop it?
The faculty declared the bird a protected species. If it wasn't for our mechanical eagle, we were sitting on a major ornithological catastrophe.
You have an automaton here?
A wonder of technology. It's an eagle that's mounted on rails in the air. It passes through and it swoops down to collect parasite eggs. But heck, the dang eagle's been out of order for several years. Impossible to collect the eggs myself.
Why not?
I can't climb up the gangway. I fell off it several months back, and I still have a pain in my spine. Not to mention the vertigo I've been getting. I only have to look up in the air. Whoa.
You poor soul. That must be very hard.
Worst thing is, cuckoo eggs piling up in the nests. Soon the rectors are gonna notice. There's trouble in store. Big trouble. I'm worried. Yep, worried.
The sailors on the barge reckon they could help me tow my train out of here, but they're asking for money. You couldn't possibly help me out with a few dollars, could you? I would be very grateful.
Miss, really, I'm surprised at you. Asking for money from a total stranger. Oh.
Right. I need cash. I need it to get my train out of your station, because my train is getting in your way, disturbing your birds, and upsetting your bosses.
Look, lady, I'm only a station master. I got my problems, and you got yours.
I won't disturb you any longer, Mr. Station Master.
Welcome to Baruchstadt, miss.
I don't need that for the time being.
What is it you want to know, miss?
You wouldn't know where the forest Sauvignon plants are kept in Bargstadt, would you?
Why do you think there are Sauvignon plants here?
I read about it in a book at the library.
Try going to see the station master. If such a shrub exists, he will have a better idea than anyone.
It's actually he who sent me to you. I thought it a little strange, but he definitely said ask the paleontologist. You're the only one here, aren't you?
Yes, indeed. What a strange way to behave. Well, I think he must have made a mistake, that's all. Nobody tells me anything here, and maybe you should ask the rectors. After all, they are in charge of the university.
All right, thanks. You told me earlier about a lecture on some ancient Siberian tribe called the Ooks or something?
The Yukos, my dear. Careful not to confuse them with the Ukistran people of Central Asia.
Do excuse me. I wanted to know if your lecture is going to start soon.
Your eagerness to learn delights me, my dear. But I haven't finished studying this marvelous mammoth effigy yet. Don't worry, I will call you. See you later.
What would you say about seeing Hans Vorarlberg again? After all, you could come with me and help me find him.
Young lady, you are very kind. I'm far too old for such escapades.
My train stopped in a peculiar aviary. It's very odd. A lot of bird species seem to seek harbor there.
Ornithology is far from being my favorite subject, but I must concede that the station is the pride of the university. It was initially intended for teaching purposes, but then birds started arriving from all around the world. It seems that there are still rare species breeding there and flourishing.
Are there? Can you give me an example?
I have been told about a kind of bird with peculiar habits. Let's see now, the Amazon cuckoo, that's right. But, I'm so foolish, I can't remember what was so special about it. Just that its behavior is very peculiar.
The Amazon? Where's the Amazon? What is the Amazon?
I'm sorry, my dear, but one cannot learn everything in a lifetime. Specialization is the key to real knowledge. Why don't you pay a visit to our library?
Thank you very much. I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child.
Gentlemen, forgive me for disturbing you again, but I have a little problem.
A little problem. Everyone has little problems now, you know.
They are kept to oneself, and they don't stop the world from turning.
Nor trains from leaving stations.
Are you sure there are no Amazon Sauvignon plants in Bargstadt? Because I have just interviewed the station master and the paleontologist, and what they said really didn't convince me that there wasn't any here.
We are quite definite on this point. There are no Sauvignon plants growing in Bargstadt. You see, miss, the Amazon forest sauvignon is a rare shrub that requires very special conditions for growth. That's right. Conditions that are very hard to reproduce, believe you me.
Difficult, but not impossible. Fortunately, our garden has proved very successful.
Your garden? So, there is a garden in Bargstadt?
Oh, the garden. Well, if there was one, it would be only a little garden hidden behind the station. But our station master would be very proud of it. He would take very good care of it, too. Everything would grow marvelously if we were able to cultivate it at all, and it would be all down to his gardening prowess.
And we would be proud as punch. And we wouldn't forget the role the paleontologist might play in this.
What's the paleontologist got to do with it all?
Without him and without his laboratory, how would we make the wine, do you think?
And it would be good wine indeed, my dear colleagues, would it not? Oh, yes, a delightful balm to soothe away our long hours of toil and our heavy responsibilities.
We would wait impatiently every year for the arrival of the year's produce.
So, if I have understood you correctly, there are indeed Sauvignon plants in Bargstadt. They are cultivated in a garden behind the station, then turned into wine by the paleontologist's loving care. And finally, the pleasure of tasting is yours. If I'm not very much mistaken, gentlemen, you have a minor racket operating here.
Miss, you do go jumping to some hasty conclusions. We never said that. That's not what we said at all.
We were talking in the conditional. You know, with ifs and woulds.
So, what would happen if I had such a hunch?
You would have to keep it to yourself, of course.
Yes, if you would be so kind as to keep it a secret. It would only be a small local concern, producing barely a few bottles every year.
That's right. Nothing so grandiose as a business. Otherwise, we'd be liable to be fined. So, we can't count on your discretion, can't we?
Don't worry, I have no intention at all of getting messed up in anything. Can you possibly help me out here?
Miss, your insistence is almost verging on indecency.
If you don't mind, could you not disturb us all the time? Thank you. We cannot constantly be at your disposal. We have many other requests to attend to.
Some sailors have agreed to tow the train, but I don't have enough money to pay them. I was wondering if you could help me out. For a while. I could work for the money.
Please wait, miss. We have certain confibulations to attend to.
That is right. We must confibulate between ourselves. A collegiate decision must be taken.
I hope that we are not indisposing you in any way.
Why not?
If it helps us get rid of that train.
My word, that is a fine idea.
What do you have in mind, gentlemen?
When you arrived here, you must have noticed a splendid bandstand which honors the main university courtyard.
A unique piece of mechanical craftsmanship which no longer works, alas.
Why, yes, we have very moving memories of its melodies. We're prepared to offer you a financial reward if you can set it working again.
With pleasure. What do I have to do?
Unfortunately, my dear, time and rust have taken their toll on this university, and our automatons no longer have a spring in their step. You are going to have to be resourceful.
To tell you the truth, there are a number of complex mechanisms here in Bargstadt, and it would appear that we have unfortunately lost their operating instructions. Your train, however, is an extremely ingenious invention, so you should be no stranger to complex mechanisms, should you? We are therefore counting on your ingenuity, miss.
I hope that I can show myself worthy of your faith in me, gentlemen.
Well, my dear colleagues, one more university matter nicely tied up.
If you can possibly get the canal lock open, Then the sailors will be able to tow the train up to the winding machine.
What a surprising request.
Open the lock? What a singular idea. Our university isn't responsible for the functioning of the canal locks. A different administration deals with that, miss.
Here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Already? My word, doesn't time fly by?
Thank you for a charming visit, miss.
And thank you, gentlemen. Hello.
Hey, baby, you party? You sure looking mighty fine. Love those big, round eyes.
Just who do you think you are?
Hey, he's funky. I like that in a lady. Okay, I'm home. Come on, Zol. I'll let you buy me that coffee.
I don't remember ever asking.
Hey, don't play hard to get. I know you like it big time.
Listen, kid. Go back home and play with your toy cars and forget you ever saw me.